everyone and welcome to the GameFace MPNFL Netball Show. We're without Lou again this week, who is very lucky spending a few weeks over in the US, so we'll be missing her for the next couple of weeks as well, so very jealous of her little breakaway at the minute. So just so you guys know, on the show tonight we've got all of our usual segments as well as our special topic for the night, which is the under-17s competition. Some of you guys love it, some of you hate it, so we'll go over some of the points for that later in the show tonight. Yep. So let's jump straight into it and have a look at the key results from round 12 for Div 2. What did we have, Christy?
Yeah, so Division 2 last weekend, so there was some pretty terrible weather on the weekend.
Wasn't the best fun, was it?
It wasn't great, but we do play winter sports. So, but I do know that Langwarrin had the indoor game with their courts currently being resurfaced. So they had
so nice day for it.
Yeah, they had tie-up indoors, and their A-grade game was one of the closest, both with ladder positions and the overall scoreline. So Langwarrin came away with a win, 40-37. So that's a really great win for Langwarrin. So they're continuing to steamroll through the competition, and yeah, I do know that there's a few of the players who are, welcoming that indoor game, so saying that it's a bit better on their bodies as the season progresses. So yeah, that might hold them in good stead towards the end of the season. And I suppose the other one that stood out for me across probably all the grades was Coringal. Their B, C and D teams, all three of them are on top of the ladder, all still remaining undefeated. Wow. And they had convincing wins against Somerville on Saturday, and again in some pretty treacherous conditions out there. So they continued to progress nicely through the season, and I think everything else was pretty much along the lines of where what we thought would have probably come through.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and what about you in Division 1?
Yeah, so we had a couple of close results actually on the weekend. The first being the Bombers and Dramana. So Dramana sitting 5th on the ladder, Bombers in 7th, and Dramana came away with just a 2-point win in really, really shocking weather conditions. They had a very, very wet weather game apparently. So so that was an interesting result. We wonder whether Dramana are used to having that indoor game, so whether that's made it a little bit tricky for them to perform on that in that shocking weather. But the Bombers have done really well to get that close to them because they are a very strong side this year. So that was a very interesting result.
Before you move on, I'll do a shout out to a former A-grade player for Dramana, and that's Chloe Birch. So she welcomed her first child during the week.
Congratulations.
So congratulations to Chloe, who now has a little boy to look after.
That's awesome.
So we wish you all the best.
It really is the best injury to have, isn't it? I love it. What else do we have? Also in A-grade, I called out last week that our girls were playing Pine. So our girls sitting 4th and Pine sitting 6th on the ladder. I thought it might have been a bit of a danger game. Turned out I was right. They played the Thursday night indoors, and Pines came away with a 49-40 win against our A-grade side. So that was, they were fast in that game too.
I was going to say, what was the key call out?
Oh my goodness, they were very fast, and their defenders, their reflexes were amazing, and they just had this jump and these arms that you'd think that there was a clear pass, and then they were just there. It was a great game to watch, but they're a force to be reckoned with. It'll be really interesting to see if they can fight into that top 5 with the second half of the season, because they've been playing very well. So
your opponents are now going to come up against you each week and play a fast game and hope that that's what gets them across the line.
Look, I don't know if that's what it was, but it certainly looked very fast to me. Maybe it's because I'm used to playing C-grade.
Might be.
On that too, in C-grade we had a couple of close results as well. So Frankston YC and Mornington were 2nd and 3rd, so very close on the ladder, which it is very tight as we know. And YC came away with just a 1-point win against Mornington, who we actually lost to by 1 point the week before. So Mornington are very, very tight up there in that competition as well. So that was, the YC girls I think did very well to come away with that 1-point win. And
especially
we had
with Lou away too.
Yeah.
So
missing one of their key girls.
Should be looking at that from afar.
Absolutely, should be very proud of them, I'm sure. Now Bomb Beach as well, they were sitting 5th after their loss last week against Rosebud, who was sitting 4th, but they came and won that game 38-32. So they're sitting now back in 3rd position. So they'd be very happy with that, back to where they were sitting a couple of weeks ago. So
good to hear Bomb Beach getting a win, and we know that Rosebud's a good force out there.
They've been such a great team this year across all the grades, and really good to see Bomb Beach fighting really hard in that C grade.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So moving on to our Swordfish Wine Bar and Tapas match of the round. Last week it was the under-17s competition we were looking at between Seaford and Devon Meadows 2. So we had eyes on that game. Christy, what can you tell us?
That's right. We sent our spies out to watch the Seaford versus the Devon Meadows 2 team. And it was anticipated to be a very tough clash between the two teams. So Seaford were taking on the 5th place Devon Meadows, but I have watched a few of those Devon Meadows games, and they're a really quality team. So yeah, we anticipated that this was going to be a really tight clash, but in the end probably wasn't as tight as we thought. Seaford been able to really show why they're cementing that top place there in the under-17s. So so the winner of the Swordfish Wine Bar and Tapas Award this week is Lauren Bond of Seaford. So congratulations, Lauren. Our little spy says that you had an amazing game in wing attack, had plenty of quality ball, was able to hit the circle for the entire game and giving your goalers first opportunity. So from a coach's perspective, you can't ask much more than that from a wing attack. And you're just continually dominating that game or your games in attack. So congratulations. Apparently playing well beyond her years. So that's a really high accolade for an under-17 player.
I'm sure we'll see her in the higher grades not too far in the future.
Sounds like it. So congratulations, Lauren, and we will be in contact with you to see how you can pick up your award from the Swordfish Player of the Round.
Fantastic. Congratulations, Lauren. So moving on now, we actually popped up a post this week on Facebook that you may have seen. We wanted to put the question out there about our awards night. So just wanting to know, were you keen on the awards as they stand? Do we need a change? There's a few little questions in there. So we didn't hear too much from you guys, so definitely jump on the comment section and let us know what you think.
Yeah, so that's right. We've definitely got our good authority that Sam Downey at the league is really wanting to know and get this feedback from the players, because, there's a lot of funding, I suppose, that goes in towards...
A lot of effort, a lot of time.
But, into the trophies. And if it's not something that you're wanting to put up on your mantle when you're awarded the winner of that, let us know what you'd prefer. So I know at a lot of the stadiums throughout Victoria, Waverley and FDNA, etc., they do glassware, and I know that Best on Court sometimes, like at Waverley, they get a beautiful big glass vase. So if that's the type of thing that you're interested in, or you've got some other suggestions, just post on the page today.
Fantastic. And while we're on the topic of sharing feedback, we want to put it out to you guys, your opinions on the under-17s competition.
All right. So the under-17s competition started back in 2015 with 9 out of the 12 teams fielding a side in the competition. And since then, we've seen the under-17s competition continue to grow, with 6 out of 10 clubs now in Division 1 fielding an under-17 side, and 9 out of the 12 in Division 2. So, and as we just spoke about with the game of the round, Devon Meadows has actually got 2 sides that they field. So there's actually 16 teams represented by 15 out of the 22 clubs. So not a bad, I suppose, result. But we are now, 4 years? This is our 4th year. So there's some mixed thoughts around how it's going. So what are your thoughts, Sam?
Look, well, I believe the introduction of it actually came about when we were separate. So it was the Nepean and the Peninsula League. So Nepean voted it in, and I believe those clubs generally don't have as many association level netball links around that area. And then I know in our Peninsula League we voted against it and ended up with D grade, so we ended up with another opportunity for senior netball.
That's right. So for all the people who are new to the league, Peninsula and Nepean were purely based on geography. Predominantly, there was a few exceptions here or there, but that was how the divisions were split. But now we've moved to a relegation component that is mixing it up and having Division 1 and Division 2.
Absolutely.
So it's made a bit of a mix, because you're right. It was decided upon based on those clubs that have maybe not a stronger connection to a junior.
So there would be a couple of clubs, I imagine, that didn't have under-17s competition for only for the last 2 years, when we have been Division 1, Division 2. So so it's a big change. Look, I'm not sure that I'm a huge fan. I mean, growing up in my local area, there are so many junior clubs that you have that opportunity to play. So generally speaking, we would go and play your junior club, and then when it was time to play senior netball, then we've now obviously got our league that we can is one of the options that you can go to rather than state if you weren't quite good enough for that level, which I wasn't. So Maybe 1 year, but that was when I was very young. So, yeah, look, I'm not sure that it's wholly necessary. What do you think, Christy?
Look, I think there's probably fors and against, and every club would have a different perspective on what that is. Again, like you said, I think clubs that come from an area where there is a strong junior competition, whether that be FD&A, the Chelsea competition, Mornington Junior Comp, if you're close enough to them geographically, I think that there's really strong junior clubs that want their teams to remain with them up until the under-17s to move to the football netball as a senior player. But I completely appreciate, particularly down further south on the peninsula, Sorrento's, Rosebud, Dramanas, etc. They may not have as an extensive competition there, and so for them to have players coming through into their senior club, they need to have something in place
to draw from, perhaps.
Whether that means maybe, looking at how we can improve our junior competitions, because for me, I see it as a great opportunity for the girls to not be worried about footballers being around them, just to enjoy their netball. It's a good breeding ground for umpires, and that's a lot of the time where our young umpires practice their skills in that competition. If we pull them out as an under-17, can they be around to do that umpire development? So, yeah, look, there's, like I said, lots of pros and cons. So I'd be really interested to know how the junior competitions maybe impacted your club, and whether it's been a positive impact or if it's been a negative impact. So, send us through what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, I also wonder too, we're moving a lot towards aligning with the football clubs now. We've got our top 5 for finals this year, but the football clubs actually got rid of their junior competition. They got rid of the link to the junior competition, I think, in 2015. So, and then the under-17s are relegated to the junior competition. So there's actually a separation between the juniors in footy and the seniors. Yep. So do you think it would make sense to have the same in our league?
Yeah, you're right. So we've got an under-19 football competition, which definitely isn't deemed as a junior competition. So, they've deemed under-17s to move towards to stay within the junior competition of the football. So I see where you're coming from there. I'd also be really interested to know how many of our under-17 players play in that under-17 comp, but then also later on in the day are playing
for the seniors,
the A, B, C or D, or are they playing a second afternoon comp? So they're playing in the MPNFL and then heading down to
There's so many more opportunities for the juniors to play, isn't there? There's a lot of competitions, whereas senior netball there's not quite as much around. So,
well, I definitely know that with the under-17s coming in, it was really sought that they needed to have their own independent competition because they weren't physically capable to play against the senior girls, even in those lower grades. And now I'd really question whether that's the case.
Is that really true?
A few years in, are they actually just playing in that under-17 comp, or are they playing across the two? And, I know that, there's been some fantastic girls that have been identified through that under-17, and they've been snatched right up into that senior competition. Some of them moving from B grade already at halfway mark, or, just past the halfway mark up into the A grade. So, it really defeats, I think, maybe what the original purpose of it was, where they thought that they just needed their own little competition to keep
separate
them,
those
to keep them together and to have them develop. Where I question if that's actually happening out there now.
Yeah, it would be very interesting to know. So let us know your thoughts, guys. Definitely jump on the comments or inbox the page, because we're definitely keen to hear how it's affecting your club in particular. And if you love it, if you've got some more positive points, because I struggle to find them.
We're very biased, though. Neither one of our clubs has an under-17 team.
Very true.
Share with us your thoughts, particularly if you are very pro under-17. And
how has it been good for your club, and what has it done for you?
Yeah, and Sam might give us a clip over the ear as well when she hears what we've got to say. All right.
Oh dear. So we know the weather's been cold over the last couple of weeks, so maybe you guys have put your phones away, but we actually don't have anything for our Netflix and skills segment tonight. So, we love to see some stuff. I know there's a few mid-year balls. I know ours is definitely happening tomorrow night, so there's a few good spray tans coming around this weekend. So it'll be good to see some photos, guys, so make sure you get your phones out, snap it, and definitely send it through to us by inboxing the GameFace page.
Speaking of your club, I didn't ask, how did your big celebration game go?
Yeah, good. Yeah, it was, as they all are, that's embarrassing, but it was good fun. It was, we had a really early start because we actually had our ladies' luncheon that day, so we were up bright and early to play a 9 a.m. game.
Weren't they lovely to do that for your milestone
very
game
nice,
too?
yeah, but, it was actually good to get up early and get the game done, and then we could have a few wines over lunch, so that was a really nice way to celebrate it, actually. Yeah,
good on you.
Good, thanks.
So, yeah, make sure that you send through all of those Netflix and skill clips, photos, anything that you've got around the club. We would love to see them, and throw some of your teammates under the bus.
Yeah, definitely. And just as a side note goes as well, because we don't have anything this week, we wanted to just mention, if you jump into the GameFace page, we've actually now got up the top 20 of the sharpshooters competition. So if you're a goaler, you're wondering where you're sitting and how you're going for the season, definitely jump onto that. It's under the stats section. So check that out.
We know that they're all wanting to know where they're at. So all you shooters, you mention it regularly on our page. Go and check out on the app. All of the information's there. It's in order. Currently where you're sitting. There'll be some people who might be a little bit disappointed.
Oh, well, use it to fire up, bring on the competition.
Well, they don't put the defender stats on
No, I know. Look, there's not much you can do about that, really, is it? It's a bit harder to track, I think. Moving on now, guys, we've got our rumour file. So we've got a rumour here this week. Christy, let's have a look.
Something is inside.
Excellent.
Let us... All right. Oh, I think this is the first time this has happened.
Okay.
This is a rumour that relates to both Division 1 and Division 2.
Okay.
All right. Which Division 1 club has already approached a current Division 2 coach and offered a considerable amount of cash for a head coach A-grade coaching position in 2020?
Oh, a mid-season recruiting. That's interesting.
Yep. So... Look, this honestly doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah?
I believe that most people would be starting to move on this now.
Start planning. Well, I suppose if you're not up in the top and you're struggling a little bit, you might be looking. But I don't know. Are you more focused on the season as it is now, or you're pre-planning?
Oh, look, I think
bit of both.
Yeah, there has to be a little bit of pre-planning.
Yeah.
So good on. Tough decision ahead for that particular coach.
Yeah, well, I wonder if we'll see any movements, and then we might know if it's true.
Wait and see.
So definitely keep sending through your rumours, guys. Just inbox the page or us if you need to.
Yeah, happy for you to send it through to me individually. People often ask whether they're allowed to. Yeah, shoot it through to me. I won't disclose who it's coming from. All right.
So we're moving on now to have a look at our games coming up tomorrow. Christy, what do we see for Div 2?
Yeah, so before I get started on what the actual games are, I'm really interested to see what the lineups are across the courts tomorrow, mid-week of school holidays. There are a lot of teachers within our little netball fraternity, and a lot of them look to escape
those
Melbourne
winter chill days,
at this time of the year. So I know Bali's quite attractive at this time of the year, far north Queensland, etc. So it would be interesting to see how many girls are made available for our games tomorrow.
Definitely.
Because, the weather has been pretty putrid.
Yeah.
But the games across the board that I think are really going to interest me tomorrow is Seaford versus Coringal. So this, again, just a little bit further into the season, both feeling a little bit more comfortable, particularly Seaford new to the division, around how they're placed. And Seaford sitting in second in the A grade and Coringal in fifth, but I think Coringal's got the manpower to potentially go and give Seaford a nudge on this game. But so we'll be interested to see how that goes. And then across the rest of the grades, B grade, Seaford in fourth place, Coringal, as we know, undefeated again in first. So, some really tough matches there. And, I think Seaford will be really out to prove themselves. This will be
they're up there.
One of their biggest tests. And they have come off, a slightly easier round last week against Pearcedale. So they'll need to bring their A game versus Coringal. And, across the board, again, unless someone's going to come out and cause a great upset, I think it's pretty stock
Unless
solid
they're missing
across
half
the
their team if they're all away.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I think it really, it's really going to make a difference with that. And, potentially if anyone's playing an indoor game, outdoor game, depending on the weather. But otherwise I think it should probably play out as per their ladder positions. Yeah.
Fair enough.
And what about your division?
Well, we actually only have a couple of games on this weekend. So 6 of the teams have already played this round on the 8th of June. So we've only got 4 teams left. So that's my girls in Bomb Beach.
Oh, so they're all probably going away.
Yeah, it looks like it. I think they've timed that. They planned that really, really well. I'm a bit jealous that we didn't plan it that way. But anyway, so we've actually got in C grade, our girls are sitting first and Bomb Beach are now back up to 3rd on the ladder. So that's going to be a really big test. I know the first time we played them was over the Easter weekend and I think we only came away with a couple of point win and we were down by a fair bit. So they were definitely very tough to play. So that will be a really interesting rematch there.
No disrespect to your team and your club, but go Bomb Beach. I really just,
Don't worry, we're used to it. We're used to it. It's fine.
Just want to see Bomb Beach get up there, and if it's in C grade, let it be. Go Bomb Beach. I'm cheering you on.
They will be really tough. I'm sure there'll be lots of people.
And it's not your milestone game anymore, so I don't have to worry about that.
I actually think that we're playing that super early too, because I think the Bomb Beach girls have got their ladies' luncheon on the weekend. So yes, it'll be a nice early game for us all.
And so there might be some spray tans going on there as well.
There could be, and we've got the ball that night as well, so there'll be plenty of orange girls out on the court, I'm sure. And then we've got Germana and YC are playing. So there's actually going to be some tight tussles for Germana and YC across the board. But particularly in D grade, they are Germana sitting 4th and YC sitting 3rd. So that will be really interesting to see if they can switch positions on the ladder or if it stays the same.
And Germana is definitely played indoors, so they'll enjoy that.
Yes, that will be very nice for those girls. A little bit jealous there. But yes, not much happening, but it'll be still some interesting results, I think.
Yeah, it's a funny time of the season now. I think it's starting to even out a little bit. But I love an upset. So
yeah, we sort of hit that part in the season too where you can get a little bit complacent. So I know that definitely happened to us. So it can happen to anybody. So we've got to really lift and drive into the finals now. So
who we can talk about next week who comes and causes the upset.
Absolutely.
All right, so that's really us for the round. So a nice, easy one this week. So make sure that you're sending through all of that information. Lots of content there for you to comment on.
Yeah, we want to hear you guys' thoughts as well. So definitely jump in the comments because we always read them. So we want to see what you think.
Yeah, but otherwise, a massive thank you to our amazing sponsors, Frankie Media and Swift's Locker and Swordfish Wine Bar and Tappers. Without them, our show wouldn't be possible. So please make sure you are supporting our sponsors whenever you can.
Fantastic. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Really jealous to the girls who've got the bye, but good luck to the girls who are playing tomorrow. And we'll see you all next week.
Cheers.
Cheers.